All right, we're live. The Cowboys and Coffee podcast is back. Back again. It's been a couple weeks. We took a break. Cowboys took a break.
Yep.
We're back in mini camps. We're kicking off now. And go.
Well, let me start it off because I told you I want to say.
That's right.
This is what I'm going to tell you my feel for this team organization. Next 3 years, win 2 out of 3 Super Bowls.
Ooh.
That's what's on the line with this right now. Next 3 Super Bowls, we win 2 out of 3.
You know, George Pickens, man.
We're going to do a little mini dynasty. We're going to go. You're going to put Staubach, and you want to put 3 out of 4 because Aikman, those guys, the triplets, put them first. Staubach and his 71, the first one, and 77, second. And we're going to put this one, Dak and the boys, third dynasty. That's where I'm at. Because I'm talking junk to a Philadelphia Eagle fan already that I'm already picked my sandwich out.
Listen.
Because the first game, we're going to knock Hurts out clean, right, whatever it is, and take care of that dynasty. The Romans are regrouping.
Let's hope. Let's hope, because I just got to get one. Can I even get there? Can I even get to an NFC Championship game?
Next 3 Super Bowls. In the Super Bowls, 2 out of 3. We lose another one. We lose on a bad call.
That's fine.
That's what I expect. That's my standard now.
Well,
that's what I see right here.
George Pickens has the ability to absolutely dominate, and he's already been electric already with Dak in camp. We know he's had the ability, the talent. Now he has a real quarterback to give him the ball and not have lollipops thrown off to him in the outfield. I mean, the outfield, downfield, on deep passes. So can he do it? Can they do it? There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of good things to see. Kavontae Turpin getting out there, and some of our sources say the Cowboys are still looking at Amari Cooper as another option, a wide receiver option. You know, so you would have CD, Pickens, and Amari Cooper who don't play special teams.
Right. Exactly.
Turpin does. I mean, I wouldn't mind Amari Cooper out there. Tolbert would have to.
Yeah.
At that point, you have a couple of other guys, Flournoy and Cropper, who would have to, who are fighting for those last roster spots. You know, there are people who were upset. Is it Calvin Watkins? Who's the other guy who covers the Cowboys who's always anti-Cowboy? Who was upset that the Cowboys didn't pick up Nick Chubb. 29 years old after another major knee injury at running back. It's not the same as Derrick Henry. They're like, oh, Derrick Henry. Again, it's another Derrick Henry situation. Derrick Henry, we knew, still had plenty in the tank. Nick Chubb is coming off another major knee injury. Why are we worried about Nick Chubb?
Yeah. There's no sense even bringing that up. I don't know off the top of my head who said that, because I took a sabbatical off it, but we'll find out. Doesn't matter because he's not in camp. So why am I saying this?
It's the $1 million question. Why are you saying this?
It's a very simple reason why I said this. The first time that I've seen in a long time since Jimmy Johnson, you have depth everywhere.
Yeah.
You have a controlled atmosphere now that they're going to compete to win. The depth, that's what depth does, allow you compete to win. And we had Rob Stone. Rob Stone sat the bench.
Yeah.
And what did he end up being? All pro with the Giants and 49ers? One of those teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have look on that defensive side of the ball now. You got the deep coordinator come in who on his credentials stops the run. All those big holes that we've questioned now and they've gotten torched in the last 15, 20 years, their defense was destroyed in the playoffs.
Yeah. We were talking about Matt Eberflus and where he came from and how he got, what's his coaching tree. He starts in the NFL. He'd been in the college ranks for years. Was in Toledo for a while. He ends up going to the Browns staff with Mangini, and Brian Daboll was our offensive coordinator, and Rob Ryan was their defensive coordinator. Then when Rob Ryan goes over to coach the defense for the Cowboys, Eberflus came with him as a linebackers coach, and that's how he started to build his resume, where he goes to be the D coordinator afterwards for the Colts and then the head coach of the Bears. And well, we know his defenses are incredible defenses.
Well, their team, they do a Tampa 2 defense, but the 4 down linemen attack the quarterback. And basically what you have is your corners play off the ball and they're better against the run.
Sure.
And that's the philosophy for over. And then the strength of his ability to coach a person, talent. Just ask Mr. Leonard, who made a couple All-Pros over there, and a couple other linebackers they try to get rid of, and turn that defense around from bottom to the top against the run.
You know,
and there was no Micah Parsons there.
They play zone coverage in the back end, which, when healthy, plays right to Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland, because those guys can break on the football, pick the ball off, and move with it. Diggs especially can bait guys. You know, he's excellent man-to-man, but I think in zone, because he's a very smart cornerback, if he can get down the hill, get that ball, and he's running.
Well, in part of the mixture of the success is you have players with experience with the fresh and the new. You have the D tackles coming in from UCLA and the other big fella from. You have ability to mesh both of them now, and they're peaking at the same time. They're gonna. There's ability of good chemistry right here that they're not a finesse team.
Right.
Even though a Tampa 2 is a finesse defense, but their playing is not.
What I like too is that bend don't break mentality, and that's, I think, what a big thing that they preach is we might let up yards, fine. You might get down to the our side of the field, but even if you do, we're not giving you touchdowns. We're not giving you touchdowns. We're not giving you touchdowns.
Well, the key to a great defense is
field goals versus touchdowns.
We always look at the top 10 all the time. We always looked at that. But it's your defensive what they give up per game.
Right.
Yeah.
And now the Cowboys are
because
really
sacks can be overrated. Remember the Eagles team that some years
Absolutely.
ago had a lot of sacks and they stunk on the back end. That wide nine.
Remember that wide nine? Yeah. Because you could run on that.
Yeah.
Which is surprising that they had so many sacks, so they weren't good. Giants rode a great D line to 2 Super Bowls with average at best secondary,
and that's what made Tennessee's teams good. They didn't give up a lot of yards. Inside the 20, they were in the top 5 or 6.
Right.
Which would be with the Patriots.
So now Dallas, they seem to really like their offseason acquisitions have come into camp and looked good. It's still June, but I'd rather them look good than not good. George Pickens is an absolutely dynamic wide receiver.
Well, we were concerned about the offensive line ability to block and guide and all that. But the Pickens trade and pickup has helped this whole organization.
Yeah.
It's helped the whole organization. Lamb made All-Pro off a 9-7 backup year. With him in the lineup, helps the whole team.
So I would probably put right now CD and George Pickens as the second best duo in the NFL with the ability to be the first. I would probably put Jamar Chase and T. Higgins at 1 because they've done it. I'd probably have the Cowboys 2, and then 3rd or 4th, I'd probably have the Eagles with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, and then 4th, I'd have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Though Jalen Waddle,
the Eagles guys are good. They're good. Yeah, they're good.
I think that's where maybe 5th, depending on how their health is. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Puka's got to be healthy. Devontae's no spring chicken.
Yeah. I don't think he's as Diggs and Hopkins. I think he still has more wear.
Yeah, I don't think Devontae and Puka have the game-breaking ability. I think they could cut you up a million times.
Yeah.
And that's not a slight. It's not like Was it Michael Smith, the wide receiver for the Saints, slant boy?
Yeah.
Right. Just oh my gosh, he would just slant. That's not Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. They're excellent route runners, but they're not speed demons. And Devontae's not the deep threat that he used to be now. They can't get open. I just think Pickens and CD they're more explosive at this point.
Well, the D coordinators in NFC East realize now when they went to game plan CD Lamb and made the All-Pro on backups. What do you think that team's going to be like with him?
Michael Thomas. Sorry,
Michael Thomas. Yeah, Michael Thomas. Made the whole team better with that pickup. And again, when players are out to prove something, they usually play well.
It's a contract year too for him. It's a big difference between $12 million and $25 million for annual contract.
Listen, he brings the Super Bowl. Jerry's going to give up that big boat that he has to sign him.
Listen,
you get that big boat.
You're right. Well, if he has 900 yards
that's
and 7 touchdowns,
$300 million boat.
Right. Yeah.
That's going to be signed right over to him.
If he only puts up 950 yards and 8 touchdowns, he's getting paid $13 million. If he puts up 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns, he's making $25 million. That's the difference. You want to double your pay, you have to put up.
And forget about this prima donna attitude and stuff. That's listen. He ain't beating up women. You know what I mean? He ain't drugging and stuff like that. This stuff is blown out of proportion. I don't know what he did over there in detail.
I'd be frustrated too. Arthur Smith was my offensive coordinator, and
of course
Russell Wilson was like, here's go along.
Yeah, Arthur Smith. That's like
when Arthur Smith doesn't have
cartoon Charlie Brown.
Yeah, Arthur Smith doesn't have prime Ryan Tannehill, prime Derrick Henry, great Titans offensive line, AJ Brown, and the rest of the cast. Boy, he doesn't look like a good offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Why does he have a job?
Yeah. Why does he have it?
He should be a PE coach.
Yeah. Absolutely.
PE teacher.
For Broadview.
PE teacher and a chess club.
Broadview.
Sponsor.
Not Rogers Park.
No, he don't even get no Rogers Park.
No, Rogers Park, please. Broadview.
I want to see. I'm excited. The hype train is on. The hype train is full steam ahead. What can Kevontae Turpin do on the outside with Pickens on the other side and CD in the slant and Jalen Tolbert? That's a good 4 receivers. I would feel very comfortable if you're spreading out 4 wide and you have a running back in the backfield who can block.
You have competition in all those positions. The Pickens made that whole offense again from 25 a game to 35 a game. But let me just say this. I want Dak to win like Aikman. 260, 230, all right, 20 for 27, 2 touchdowns. That's what I want a game. That's all. Just like Aikman. Aikman I don't think he ever threw for 4,000 yards. That's all. Time of possession, and then in the playoffs, you rev it up. Then you get it. Then you rev it up. You go in the playoffs, long as your play action's there, and downfield, let it go. Yep. I don't want him throwing the ball 35 times.
Well, in this NFL, why not?
I don't want to run 35 times. I don't want to run and shoot. The big play will come still without throwing the ball 35 times.
The last few years, it's a great point because the last few years, Dak's been put in harm's way.
Yeah.
The last 2 times Dak's been hurt is because they've had bad defense. They've had to throw the football, so he has to scramble. Right, fractures his ankle. Last year, he tears the hamstring because he's running. Run the football, move him around a little bit. And Dak is most dangerous when he's running, when he's a running quarterback, or even a quarterback who can run because it adds that extra element.
He was good on the goal line from 10 yards out.
Right, he can get in.
Yeah.
I want to see what Shoddy develops for him. Will they try to force him into a scheme, which at times it felt like with McCarthy? or will they allow Dak to do what Dak feels comfortable in? You know, he's one of the best pre-snap QBs, if not the best, in the NFL. How do they mold and shape the offense to him? We did a whole couple years.
Let's go back.
Being Romo friendly, can we be Dak friendly?
Right. Well, let's go back and touch on McCarthy for a second. I didn't say I'd like to hire. He did have a resume on his resume, a Super Bowl, to his credit. Nobody thought Tom Coughlin would have 2 Super Bowls against the greatest teams ever.
Right.
Okay. But he does.
He does.
So McCarthy coming there, okay, let's go. Let's do what we got to do.
And it's not like
Dak had one of his greatest years, should have been MVP, in my opinion. Should have been MVP. But things behind the scenes and little sissy little stories here and there. And, after the fact, we played money more than quarterback with McCarthy.
Of course.
Obviously, what happened at the end, that last playoff game, destroyed all the good work. If they lost 30-28 and they played well, still. But that was that hurt him.
Just despicable.
Yeah, absolutely. And whatchamacallit ran out of town to the Redskins.
Right, Dan Campbell.
Yeah, the Redskins.
So when Dak is healthy.
Dan who? Quinn. You said Campbell?
Dan Quinn, yo. Yeah. These babies are kicking my butt.
Yeah, you're up, huh?
Yeah, I'm hurting, man.
You're up.
Dan Quinn.
Yeah. You know what keeps me up?
Sully.
Sully snores. Mommy says me and him snore together.
I'm talking like Stephen A. Smith on the show today, messing up names. Might as well have.
Yeah, he did, man.
Listen,
Stephen A.
Those guys have teams of people, teams of statisticians and research people who are on a team putting this all together for them. Anyway. Just despicable. McCarthy, when Dak was healthy, had a very good team. They were able to be competitive. Right, they're up there, but they couldn't take the next step in the playoffs.
Well,
what can Shoddy show us this year about getting into the playoffs and then winning a game, winning 2 games in the playoffs? Forget one. I need 2 playoff wins this year.
It was a number of things that went wrong with McCarthy. Getting Zeke back was a wrong move. Dak wanted him back. That was a horrible move.
Why didn't they use Kavante Turpin as the wide receiver?
Right. And that's another thing that
we saw last year. He took a slant, caught the ball, outran everyone for a touchdown. We never saw that play again the whole year.
And people forget about the 49ers, how many big plays they got for throwing the ball 10 yards, and got 85 yards out of it with John Taylor.
We never saw that play again to Kavante Turpin.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. So that was part of it. The no running game and the left tackle so it was Murphy's Law team, self-inflicted, horrible, Henry not there, running back, Barkley there, Eagles winning. Checklist on that checklist, everything wrong.
Let me tell you.
So to make up for it, next 3 Super Bowls, win 2.
If out in LA they were protesting right now Mike Solari not being in prison, I would be out there protesting.
Oh yeah, I would.
I would be out.
I would
be stopping traffic.
I would have the signs.
I'd be firebombing police departments.
I would be signing the signs. I would have the signs.
Send him to jail. Send him to jail. Send him to jail.
Yeah, me said it. Right when I said, what is this guy? What is he doing? Sucked.
Mike Solari should be on a prison on the backside of the moon. That's what he should be.
Drop him off Iran. That's all. Drop him off Iran. Go over there. Said you're welcome to have him. Here's the country.
Here you go. He is a terrorist.
Yeah,
Mike Solari.
Mm-hmm.
He should not be out of prison.
Anyways, but
yeah,
he's gone. We can say that, right?
Thank God.
He's gone. Anyways,
he's gone.
We're not going to get him on.
No, I don't think Mike Solari is coming on the podcast.
No, other people thought it was obviously, yeah. Yep. But these assistant coaches now,
these guys don't play.
All business.
That's the way it has to be.
All business.
I've had enough of
gain of 10 pounds, 15 pounds. Yep. Looks bigger, stronger. He's focused.
What do they say? He had the peanut butter in the offseason.
Yeah, peanut butter. Yeah.
He got big. So I really, if he can step up, the Cowboys' offensive line will be able to run the football. They'll be able to keep Dak up. And with the weapons they finally have again, Ferguson got to come back healthy. He's got to put up. Tight end.
And he got bigger.
Yeah. Well, Ferguson better get in better shape because tight end's a replaceable position. If you're not Travis Kelce, if you're not some of these higher end tight ends, right? If you're not,
he was a good pick though, 4th rounder.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
From
nobody back expected. Up and worked his way up.
Yeah,
there's a great.
Yeah. He reminds me of myself when I was younger.
Why?
Yeah,
he has just a good relationship with Dak. They seem to have that ability to connect with each other. So if he's healthy now,
we're trying to get out. I'm shouting out to. We're trying to get a special guest on here. You know who you are. I'm not going to go down that road until I have you on as the first guest of a Dallas Cowboy fan. You know who you are. I'm not going to say names.
LeBron James.
No, not LeBron. We don't want LeBron. He's not a Cowboy fan anymore. He's here in Connecticut. He is a state trooper for the state of Connecticut. We want you on. And I am not going to go down that show, that area, that part of the show until you telling you. Because I'll tell your sister again. Go ahead. I won't wait on your sister. I won't wait on the sister. I'll make her mad all the time. Go ahead. You know how your sister is. Go ahead.
Is there still a position you want the Cowboys to pick up or look at in free agency or in a trade?
You know, that's a very good question. You got a good question. No. I think they're ready to go. They have depth everywhere.
Would you trade a 4th rounder for Jalen Ramsey?
No, I don't know.
Would you sign Jair Alexander?
No.
Why not?
No, I don't. I think he's more trouble. I'll take Ramsey than him. I think he's a little bit. He's on the other side. The other side, I'm leery on.
Here's why I'm leery about Jair Alexander. We already have dinged up cornerbacks. What do we need another one for? Why do we need another cornerback who's injury prone and hurt?
Right, because
he missed a bunch of his last 20 years. Some big number of games the last couple of years. He's hurt a lot. We already are paying cornerbacks to be hurt a lot, right? So we don't need another dinged up corner. Mm-hmm. Jalen Ramsey, you're giving up draft capital and you're paying him $20 million a year. That's a lot for a team that still has big extensions to do. I know they have the cap space now, but they need to be rolling it over. They need to get the Micah Parsons deal finally figured out. They said they've been talking. Parsons has been at minicamp, which is all good. But we need to start working on what's going on here.
Remember the Red Sox winning that series where they beat all the top teams, Detroit, St. Louis. Remember they beat all those good pitchers? What year was that? They beat all those guys.
Was that the recent one?
Was that the last one?
2018?
2018. Remember they beat all the great teams and went there. The Cowboys need Dak MVP, Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year.
You mean CeeDee Lamb for Offensive Player of the Year?
CeeDee, all of it. All of it. Mm-hmm. This team is on paper.
There you go.
You never win, but on this paper, they have depth, and that pushes your team. Depth pushes your team to championships.
They do have depth for the first time that I feel like in a while, where they're like, okay,
losing teams do not have
it. And Jason Garrett,
that's a key sign.
Jason Garrett's team, one person would get hurt, and the whole thing. Tyron Smith would miss games. The whole season went down the drain. Dak would be out for 4 games, 4 losses. And we have to give credit where credit is due. Mike McCarthy did everything he could with Dak out, winning games year after year after year.
Yes.
Cooper Rush, God bless you, wherever you're at.
It was a great backup.
Great backup for the Cowboys. Did everything he could, got everything out of his ability as a backup quarterback. And Joe Milton. Please, people, please stop saying trade Dak and start Joe Milton. It's not going to happen, and it shouldn't happen. He's inaccurate. He's slow in his reads. He's got a cannon for an arm, and he can make some fun plays. But he's a high-end backup, perhaps one of the best backups in football. That's fine to say that. And I hope we never see him play unless it's garbage minutes, to be honest with you. I hope we see him play in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl when the Cowboys are up 52-10, and they win, and that's it. And that's when they see him. They beat the Chargers in the Super Bowl.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm hoping for.
Right.
Nice guy, by all accounts. People really like him.
He's quite a physical specimen.
Oh,
240.
Oh, yeah. Can do a backflip with the helmet. He is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Again, best if we never see him.
Yeah.
Dak is a much better quarterback when Dak is healthy. He's definitely a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I think he can be top 5 with his ability. Right now, you basically have, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow as the top 4. And I think that's the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks now. Yeah. And Mahomes, for as great as he is, last couple of years hasn't played great, especially last year. It wasn't that, great football that we've seen from him. Now, Xavier Worthy's in his second year. Rashee Rice is back healthy. We might start to see that again, but it wasn't like the early years when they had Tyreek and were just blowing it open.
Listen, the greatest show on turf had 4 or 5 great receivers.
Right.
Those backup guys, Hakeem, what was that?
Hakeem.
He had like 700 yards.
Right. Right. And Ricky Prohl was a backup.
So they were backup. They had 800 yards. There's the 4th guy on. But Tom Brady had nobody. That was incredible what he did. To go over to Tampa Bay, everybody said this 1,000 times. To go to Tampa Bay, I'm sorry, you're the GOAT. When you go to Tampa Bay and you win the Super Bowl.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
This story is just.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, by the way, how's Belichick doing?
I said this before. Whatever deal with the devil that Bill Belichick made to win the Super Bowls, he is now paying back in full right now.
Is he still going to coach North Carolina?
Yes. So it's so late in the year. Where else is he going to go? Right? Like, where's he going to go now?
Yeah.
Let's say he wanted to come back to the NFL. Where would he coach?
Yeah, it's going to be something now with college to see how much.
Let's see what. I mean,
is she going to be a coordinator?
She might be calling the plays.
She's
definitely wearing the pants on the sidelines for sure. Yeah,
she's all in the interviews. I figure she's gonna. You know what it is? The offensive coordinator is gonna call a play, and she's gonna be on the helmet and go, "Honey, I don't think you should run it." Oops. Come on, that's funny. I think it's funny.
I think
that's funny.
I'm not rooting against the kids. I'm rooting against Belichick, and I'm hoping for them to stink. Like, I just hope they're no good. That's the honest truth. I've had people tell me from Designated Report, Belichick goes to college football, he'll be greater. He's better than Saban. He could definitely outcoach. It's a different ball game. Like, if he could do it in the NFL, I could do it in college. I don't believe it. It's a different game.
You can't be as demanding. Saban did, but he went out and got the player. He got the right player. He didn't get the 5-star athletes. Saban.
Well, eventually he did.
Well, he did not always get the 5-star. It was not always. Not all 5 stars.
Yeah. Julio Jones and Derrick Henry.
Yeah, there's a lot of them he did, though. There's a lot of them he did. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. In some of those positions, I know
Cortez, that. And they got all those 5 stars.
Yeah. They got Atlas
Cortez, Zeus and Zion. Got the whole 3 of them.
They went to LSU.
Right. So he's got it. It's a different world at NIL too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like you could coach him like you could 10 years ago, and say, well, listen, you signed, or even before when there was a transfer penalty, which they should change still.
Yeah.
You should get 1 transfer for free during a certain window. After that, you have to sit out the year.
Yeah, the college sports.
3, 4, 5 teams.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't help the sport, in my opinion.
And he ruined the sport. That's all that's wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
So we're coming up on 30 minutes. Anything else you want to talk about before we close up this live session of Cowboys and Coffee?
I have the question to ask you off stage about another playing somebody in the family plays fantasy football with us.
No, I won't allow it.
All right.
So that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming back for my crown again in all 4 of the leagues I won the championship in. So
absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah,
that is it.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. You asked me off thing. Are you dedicating this to anybody?
You know, my mother-in-law passed away. A good friend of mine, Billy Peeler, passed away. But each one are different aspects of my life. As a kid, Billy Peeler, and my mother-in-law, who I loved dearly as a mother. To both of them.
Yeah.
To both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a rough week here, a rough couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, but God is still good.
Yeah.
What else can you say?
Yes.
So, do you have any coffee today?
I need one now. After this, we're going to get back to have a coffee. I need a Starbucks or something back there. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, I need to drink what I got to drink.
To conclude, you know who I'm talking to. I need you on this show. I'm not going to go down for special guests until you get on. And I'm going to forfeit. No. What's the word? Protest being funny in school until this happens. The school, matter of fact, tomorrow's the last day of school.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm not going
to be funny tomorrow.
Let me give you a coffee.
I'm going to get your sister after you.
I'll give you a coffee tip before we go, because we're Cowboys and Coffee. Caffeine is an adenosine blocker. So what happens is when you drink coffee, you get the caffeine from it, and it blocks the receptors of your adenosine. Adenosine is a thing that makes you sleepy. If you drink your coffee within the first 45 minutes of you waking up, what you do is you block the receptors, but there's still adenosine in your system that hasn't been moved out. So what happens is after the caffeine wears off, the rest of that adenosine is absorbed into your body and you get tired again.
No.
So if you wait 45 minutes.
That'd be another great name for a grandson.
Adenosine?
Adenosine Cortez. Come on. You know he played? Wide receiver.
That's true with him.
About 6'1", 190, do a 4.2 40.
Yeah.
He's like a small version of who played for the Vikings in
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss. Yeah, that's it right there.
So you wait 45 minutes.
We got to do a WNBA game. Go ahead.
Yes. Then drink your coffee. You won't have that afternoon lull from the coffee. You'll have used it all up, and then you will slowly come back to normal.
Gotcha.
And you'll be fine by the time that wears off. So, yes, we will clutch a WNBA game as well.
Right.
Listen, find us on Cowboys and Coffee.
Sign up,
share, subscribe. We're slowly building our base. Help us grow. And we have more Cowboys talk coming up. We have a couple of fun things planned for this summer. George Carmi from the Commanders. He's a big online presence on Twitter, on X. I want to talk to him about the Commanders. We're looking for people from the Giants and the Eagles to talk to as well. Marjorie Ochoa, we're lining up to get back on the podcast too. Have a good time. So like, share, subscribe. Let everyone know we're here. You can find us connected with Designated Report. We're all over the place, baby. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.